Good afternoon, folks. It's October 29th, about 4 o'clock. So if you see this show on TV, you know all our predictions that we had will be true. And even before the events happened. I want to thank Tess and her crew for letting us setting everything up for us here. And I want to introduce Alex Walter, Jeff Miller, and I'm Claude Beudert. So, fellas, and this is, and like it said, memory of Bill Fleming. You don't drive by this place and don't think about Bill Fleming. And it's just this, he's the one that started this, and I don't know how he did it every week, because I could barely get a show a season.
Once every other year, I think, more like it.
No, I think we met last year. Okay. How'd we get here with the Dodgers and the Yankees?
The Yankees have made it farther in this playoff run than I thought they were going to.
Really? Didn't you think they had a?
They do, but
well?
the same fate has met them every fall. They go up there and everyone is swinging for the gates. They have forgotten how to play small ball, and fortunately, had enough bombers in their lineup to get them where they're at. But it shows here in the World Series that they are meeting the same fate that they seem to have every other year, where if they don't hit the home run, they're kind of SOL.
Yeah, and so many things they got to clean up. How about?
Well, not only the home runs, but getting some base hits.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their superstar, Aaron Judge, hasn't met the moment so far. Now, it's not over yet.
Right.
And he still could. Soto has been tremendous, but you need more than that. Stanton has hit, but he really can't run. So as it was evidenced last night.
It's interesting that they sent him, and there's been a lot of back and forth. But you know what? One of the things, you have a 3-0 lead when we played, you don't chase the runner.
The only thing I can say is they weren't touching Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
They had, maybe 1 or 2 hits prior to that. And, I don't know that they didn't think that third base coach in his mind is, we got to test it. And as it turned out, it was a perfect throw.
Right.
And it was still a close play. Now, that ball is a couple of feet one side or the other, he's safe.
Right.
But as he was rounding third, he looked awful slow heading for home.
Look like me.
You mentioned Judge he's 1 for 12 in the World Series. Otani's 1 for 11.
Yeah, so it's not the big boys. But another theory with the Yankees is it was probably in recent memory the weakest 2 teams that they had to play to get to the World Series. There's no Houston wasn't in there. And some other good Texas Rangers, some other good American League teams. The Tigers were a real surprise, and kind of slipped in there at the end. And Cleveland has a nice bullpen, but I don't think they were tested as far as playoffs were concerned. So they had an easier way in as far as the National League is concerned. I actually thought that the San Diego Padres were the hottest team going into the playoffs.
Agreed.
And that they were going to beat the Dodgers. And, you had the Mets who were on an unbelievable roll. The Phillies basically had done to them by the Mets what they had done to the Braves as a wild card team the prior 2 years. Yeah. And many times you think, well, you get that week off and maybe it doesn't help you. Maybe you need to keep playing. If you're hot, you want to keep playing. So I think the Yankees had a easier road in than the Dodgers had going. They had to beat the Padres and the Mets, which was a very hot team.
You speak about the Padres and the Dodgers. Dave Roberts admitted later on that he made more of that Manning issue than what really was.
Yeah.
To light a fire under his team, because he said the last 2 years in the playoffs, the Dodgers have just kind of. And he said he did it to fire them up, and it apparently
didn't hurt.
Has worked.
Yeah. Right. No, it'll be interesting. We were I made a list of this stuff that I sent you, that teams that started 0-2 and some really remarkable comebacks, like even the Mets beating the Red Sox. The Red Sox won 2 games at Shea to start the series.
That's right.
And then the Red Sox came back, and Mets came back and beat
What
them.
about 03?
03.
Are there any 03?
No, only the Red Sox.
Red Sox.
That was
Yankees.
that was a divisional
American League.
That was in the American League Championship Series.
So it's never been an 03,
Never
but
been 03 in the World Series.
No.
But, well,
Well,
they get by today, they got cold tomorrow,
It's a
flattery
it's a
wouldn't be.
bullpen game for the Dodgers
Yeah.
tonight, so.
That could be to their advantage, though, if
And
you
the
got guys that
Yankees
can
have
throw.
Luis Heel pitching, who hasn't thrown in 10 days, so, and
Kinda like
being a
Nestor
rookie,
Cortez.
yeah.
In that first game.
So that first game, a couple things, that first game was, to get Cole out after 88 pitches was kind of ridiculous.
That game was, the Yankees blew that game.
Yeah.
And I wanna say more so, Boone blew that game.
Right,
Then
and
the
bringing
Yankees-
Nestor in, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, no, taking Cole out, he
Yeah.
gotta go on another inning, and then it just rolled and.
Well, you're an astute Yankee fan, watch them all year long. Why didn't they bring Hill in? Very effective
Would have been,
left-handed
would have been
pitcher.
my choice, but
Did you talk-
obviously
did you
I'm
talk
not the
to-
one with the pinstripe jersey on.
Did you talk to Aaron about it? Or?
No, oh, yes, yeah, we talked the next
I
morning.
mean, he hadn't pitched in like 35 days or something.
Right.
Bingo.
Maybe he
So
didn't
why
think- maybe
isn't
thought
why
it
isn't
experience.
Hill in the game at that?
And you can't say that one's analytics.
No, it will be interesting to see what they do if they don't win it, whether they get rid of, Boone. It's such, you realize when the Yankees play, the hot seat that they're on and what the expectation is for them to win.
I've been very critical of Boone over the
Yeah.
last several seasons anyway. I just, analytics aside, some of his decisions are really bizarre as far as, I understand gut feeling as a manager, but
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
they're
his
in the World-
choice.
They're in the World Series.
yeah, it's his choice.
So-
Well, you and I could manage that team for the most part.
I'm glad you
We
left
could
me
get
out
that
of
team to, we could get that team, Alex, to 85 wins with our eyes closed.
Well, now it's one hand behind your back, eyes closed.
Well, I think that's a little over.
I don't.
Okay, all right, that's why we have the
estimation
show.
there, but,
That's how much hope I have in you, Alex. See, I
is
said
that
that.
right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna break the tie.
That
on
was-
this, I'm gonna tell you right now. Couple things, Verdugo, I have an interest in Verdugo, because I think he's a punk, and I
You
thought
too? He
he
came
was
from the Red Sox.
Red Sox, but, and you know what he really came from? The Dodgers for Mookie.
Yes, he was.
right.
He was even back then, but I felt bad that he's played pretty well. The two balls that had hit to him and left, one was the Freeman's triple, but he played it like it was going to run against the wall, but that they had that jut out there and it hit that jut out and went by him. So that, and then making that great catch on the foul ball, but then they give them a hard time, like both runners advanced.
I wasn't.
A known
I
rule?
didn't- Yeah, I didn't know that rule. to be honest
I
with you.
didn't either until afterwards.
So,
I will have to
I
agree
think,
with
because I think
Because
when
Jeter's third out was
yeah,
the
but
third
that's the
out.
third out, so, yeah, I was just gonna say that.
And then and then I thought, he hit the homer last night, got him close. And
So why is he a punk?
you know what?
He was disappointed when Ice Cube came out and he was rocking in the dugout.
I just thought with Verdugo, he didn't run things out, he came late, and he has a face like a puffed up alcoholic. And I think that, I mean, they embraced it.
That's very judgmental.
It is. I don't think he'll find out. If he does, I've switched to an unknown
So
location.
who do you think's gonna win tonight?
I think the Yankees will win tonight. I'll be very disappointed if they just go out with a whimper.
Is Judge gonna hit a home run? Yeah,
Your guess is as good as mine.
and he had such a terrific year. I mean, he
And
really.
you know what?
He
It just,
really
it's sad that, this is what people are, he had a tremendous year.
And I think he's the best player in baseball. I think he's better than no
I don't think his defense gets enough credit. He wasn't even nominated for a Gold Glove.
Absolutely.
And Soto was, and Soto's an awful outfielder.
No, I just feel like, I feel like, Otani, what did he do? DH.
Yeah,
That was it.
He's the first 50-50 ball player ever. He is a good defensive player.
Who?
Well, he doesn't play, when he was playing, not just the
Right,
DH,
but
he was a
you-
good
Ohtani,
defensive
I
player.
thought you were-
It's on this year, though.
And you didn't even pitch this year. I mean, if this guy was healthy enough to pitch and put up the numbers that he had,
Friend
that's-
tried to
that's
argue
been
with me
unseen before.
that Lindor was the MVP, and I said, Yeah, a friend of mine, I'm not gonna mention any names, but I was like, are you kidding me?
Lindor had a great
I
year.
said he had a very good year. I said, but you wanna go
But not Ohtani.
not an Ohtani year.
No.
I said he had a 50-50 season. And
Hey, you gotta give the Mets credit, and look, the
Martinez, the coach.
the enemy of my Phillies, but you have to give that team credit because in May, they were down and out.
I think
They were-
Mendoza is the National League Manager of the
Yeah,
Year.
I think he did a
Yes.
great job holding that team together, and they really, the second half of the year, they probably had the best record in baseball.
They may
So-
have.
Couple things, just moving on a little bit. What'd you think? I have some friends that feel that Pete Rose should now get into the Hall of Fame because there's a lifetime ban and he's no
It's
longer.
a slap in the face
He's
now,
no longer
posthumously.
living.
Somebody had to think a long time to come up with that.
Well, he's not living anymore, so it's
Well,
like, that's his
nah,
lifetime.
well,
No, I agree.
Yeah, he should not be in the Hall of Fame.
And it's sad about Louis Tiant and I think Bill Lee said, God struck us both with bolts of lightning with Tiant and Fernando Valenzuela dying, within 2 weeks of each other, yeah.
Gee, that was.
Remember Fernando, remember that?
I do.
That
Looking
was-
up at the sky.
Yeah, and I think in that, I hate to bring it up, but I think he was the key to pitching a game against the Yankees in '81 in his rookie year. When there was one of the times that the Yankees went up 2-0 and didn't win
Didn't win,
the series,
yeah.
so. And,
He was a great pitcher for too short a time, but
right,
great pitcher.
free agents. I just wrote these down, but the number of free agents that have Boros as an agent is remarkable. And I don't know,
Well, he gets results.
I
really
guess he
does.
didn't,
He gets results.
he didn't with Montgomery, I don't know what happened with him, and then Montgomery pitched pretty terribly this
Yeah,
year
he was awful.
because he didn't know where he was going, and then, I guess didn't really get spring training in, and so it was really kind of like, but he's
Yeah,
got,
but Boris he gets the cream of the cream, basically. And Montgomery, good pitcher, but I mean,
yeah,
I think he spends more time on some of the guys he's gonna make more money on than a guy
Yeah.
like Montgomery, who's a
Well,
good pitcher.
what do you think Soto will get? And do you
Oh.
think Soto will sign back with the Yanks?
I don't know.
I don't.
I was
You
talking,
don't?
I don't.
I was talking to my grandson.
I want him to, but I think he's gonna end up across town.
Wow.
I was talking to
Or the
my
Dodgers.
grandson, who's a big Yankee fan, and he has to he can't see the end of the game because he's 10
Right,
years
right.
old. They start the games at 8 o'clock and they don't get over till 11:30.
Right.
And the whole generation of kids are missing the World Series. Remember we used to bring the transistors
Yeah,
into
they-
school?
Yeah, you'd rather
I
have.
can remember watching the daytime game.
You didn't go to school.
Who?
You didn't go to school. Yeah, no, you'd be proud of your grandkid to get thrown out of class because he had a transistor up his sleeve. And
So he's a huge Yankee fan, and
Right.
he says, "Oh yeah, the Yankees are going to keep him." I agree with Jeff. I don't think they are, and I'm not sure it's the Mets, and it may be the Dodgers.
See, that's it.
I think the Dodgers have too much on their plate financially. As far,
Hasn't stopped them so far.
no, but when do they stop?
Well, it was like when George was alive, and Hal's a different guy than George, and he's not gonna go the lengths that George would have gone for Soto if he were alive
And does
today.
Cole opt out?
I don't know. That's a good question. He didn't have the greatest of years.
Well, he
no,
only
he
had
was
17 or
hurt.
19
Yeah.
starts.
Well,
So
he had body fatigue, I think.
yeah, so he's
I
got
had that. I
he's
had
got
that.
4 years, 144 left.
Yeah.
And I read an article just today saying that many feel he can get 200.
I'm not sure he had the kind of year that. How old is he? Tell me how old.
34.
Wow. Okay, how about
I
Alonso?
don't think so.
How about Alonso?
I think Alonso stays with the Mets.
Yeah, I think he did enough in the World Series, not the World Series, but the playoffs
Yeah.
to stick around. I think there's a lot of people in the organization that think of him as the guy that's
their guy.
come up through the organization.
Yeah, he's
that
30.
he may
man.
keep him. But
It's hard to believe.
if the Mets want to go after Ohtani, then he may not come
I mean
back.
Soto.
What'd I say, Ohtani?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they'll go
Well,
after
you
him
know,
too.
yeah.
Yes.
That'll be later.
And that'll be the
So
determining
if they go
factor
after
too.
Soto.
If they go after Soto, they're going all in on
Yeah.
Soto, and that's gonna be their.
Then you won't see Alonso, I don't think.
I wanna see the Yankees re-sign. I mean, we've been watching him now. He's only 25 years old.
Yeah, he has the most fun at bat
Right.
that you could see.
And
He
when
looks
he
every
first
pitch,
came up,
he
I
looks every
didn't like
pitch
it.
into the glove, and he moves in the batter's box with every pitch.
And he's right 95% of the time.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch.
The-
It was like Claude down at Terry King Ballpark.
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
was
yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Did I play there? One of the things I did, I think they're finally gonna go, maybe not next year, but the year after, to an automatic strike zone.
I don't.
And with the stipulation that you get 3 challenges.
And how much is that gonna slow down the game?
You get 3 challenges, and if you're right on the challenge, it stays.
You don't lose it.
You don't lose it. So I guess in the Pacific Coast League, somebody had 19 challenges, because they won all of them, and, didn't have to take it.
They're taking all the history of baseball away.
Well, fortunately, Angel Hernandez went goodbye this year.
Fortunately,
That was a
yeah.
good moment for baseball.
But now you're gonna take away all of Lou Pinella's highlights, all of Billy Martin's highlights.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff, and that's part of the history of baseball, is the home plate umpire, Dan Denkinger at first base, blew the World Series
Yeah.
for.
Jim
the
Joyce
City
blew the
Royals.
perfect game for
Yeah.
Colorado.
But that's
Right.
part of baseball. It's something
Yeah.
we talk about. Now you got this. I don't know how they change that box depending on who the player is. It gets
Yeah, it has to.
higher.
If
The
judge
judge
Judging
is
his
up to
low
bat.
strikes?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'm not for that at all.
All right. It'll be interesting. I think it depends on where the umpire.
Remember though, Alex wasn't for the
Designated
designated
No,
hitter
well,
either.
Still not. Still not. Managers don't have to do anything.
It's Earl Weaver's best dream ever is the 3-run homer. That's all he has to do is wait for the 3-run homer.
Yeah, no, it's the.
You don't have to make any decisions.
It's the
Boy,
way
that
the
ended
umpire-
up being the Orioles' demise this year.
Yeah.
Speaking of Earl
They
Weaver, and
really.
they nosedived there, and then they
I
just
thought
ran out of
I
gas.
thought they were gonna win the division.
I honestly thought in July they were the best team in baseball, and they
No, the
just
Phillies were in July.
well,
They
just-
weren't at the end of the year, but in
that's just
July.
my opinion, Alex.
The Red Sox were for 2 weeks in May.
2 weeks in May. Yeah, that's it.
So
No. No, it'll be interesting. It depends on where the umpire sets up. If he's on this side, he misses everything over here. If he's on that side. Yeah, like, look over the guy.
because right now, if you really want to break things down, the most talented team in baseball, name-wise, is leading the World Series. When you think about who they have.
Yeah, they've bought a lot of players.
Yeah.
They've bought a lot of players. That's why, and I don't think they're stopping.
Edmonds been terrific. I mean, like, he was great with the.
Who?
Edmund.
Yeah, and he's
No.
he's the Brian Doyle of
You
this
know
year's
who else
World Series.
is terrific and has been terrific for a long time that doesn't get credit is Kiki Hernandez.
Yeah, he played for the Red Sox. He was terrific
And
with
I'm
them,
telling
yeah.
you, that guy gets a lot of clutch hits. A lot of clutch hits.
And after game 1, and he hit that grand slam, I said, I can't hate Freddie Freeman. You really gotta like him for who he is.
Just his whole gait, the way he does everything. He's a great first baseman.
Always got a smile on his face,
Yeah.
he just is one of those people, you look at your kid and go, I want you to be like that guy
I
as
like
far
him a
as
lot
playing
better
the
on the
game.
Dodgers than I did on the
I'm
Braves.
sure you did, but you have to respect and appreciate the way he
Right,
plays the
yeah,
game.
He's a terrific ball player. He looks like the All-American kid too.
Yeah.
Got the crew cut.
Yeah, the great, what's Boog Powell.
Little thinner than Boog.
Yeah. Fat Joe and Ice Cube? You guys got any comment about that?
No.
It's not part of baseball.
No.
When did that ever start?
It was embarrassing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Fat Joe.
The almighty dollar, that's when that started, Alex.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, like
I
the
didn't know what either.
like the
one of them
NFL,
meant, and
you
I
know.
still don't.
It's, it's all about entertainment now. It's not all about the game.
That's a shame.
Well, some end of the year awards. I mean, some are pretty simple.
MVP, I think, is Judge and Otani. There's no,
Right, I think that, and Cy Young?
Oh, Cy Young, National League Wheeler, no question. I'm telling you, he got screwed 2 years ago, and he had a terrific year this year. And you asked the Mets how Wheeler threw in the first game of the playoff game. Threw a one-hitter until their bullpen
Okay.
imploded.
American League, I'll say either Skubal or Class A, the kid who got bombed in Cleveland in the playoffs.
How about Chris Sale?
Chris Sale,
Well,
yes,
he's
is right up
probably
there.
going to win it,
Yeah.
but it's a comeback award win more
Yeah.
than a Cy Young award.
Yeah, and yes, I'm gonna say it's Wheeler or Sale in the National League.
Yeah, all right. Wheeler, Corbin Burns, no?
He's American League, and no.
Yeah, he already got his one illegally anyways.
Managers?
The guy from Kansas City would be my choice.
Quattraro,
Matt Quattraro,
Yeah.
but you could give it to Stephen Vogt in Cleveland.
right?
You could give it to AJ Hinch in Detroit.
Yeah.
You probably have two or three, and I think it's Mendoza in the National League, the Mets manager.
I think that's probably correct. I think Mendoza did a great job with the Mets.
Keeping that together when the wheels
Yeah.
were just about to fall off
I
completely.
mean, I really couldn't tell you. I don't watch enough American League baseball
Right,
games
right.
to know. But those two teams, Cleveland and Detroit, overachieved during the season. And
Royals
And the
lost
Royals,
106
Royals,
games last year.
No, it's really
so-
interesting. When I was putting this show together, I was thinking, like, who's this? And when we were younger, we could name every manager on
Oh, absolutely.
of every team.
Yeah.
And now,
And Bobby Witt is going to be a superstar.
yeah, that's true. That's true. There's no.
I don't
doubt.
think the superstar though. Not the Ohtani, the Judge.
No,
not
but
those,
he is
Bryce Harper.
As
I don't
far
think
as
so.
he's the fastest guy in baseball. As far as measurable speed, as far as what they did, he hit 30 some odd home runs this year in only his second or third
Yeah.
year.
The-
105
you know what the
RBIs.
problem is? He plays in Kansas City.
Yeah, but here's the rest of the deal. He got no one. Perez, there's a guy who you've seen play forever, and kudos to him for winning the Roberto Clemente Award this year.
Yes.
There's an award that doesn't get enough credit, but
Yeah.
the players and real fans know what that award means.
Do you have like Phillies sheets?
No.
Underwear?
I have enough
Pajamas?
things to remind me. I put it all away after the Mets beat him. But
Plates and place setting.
Yes, yes.
Just for him.
Honey, bring my special mug and that pint glass.
doesn't everybody? You don't have a bunch of New York Yankee stuff in your house?
I have more Bill stuff than I do Yankee stuff.
Wow. How come you like the Bills?
All my friends were Jets and Giants fans growing up. And
When you were out here?
when
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then college?
I have been a Bills fan since O.J. Simpson was there.
Wow.
And they had red, white, and blue uniforms, and that's was part of the reason I picked them.
You gotta do a better job picking your idols.
Well, slash to the left, cut to the right, right up the middle.
I was thinking about how interesting this year has been with money spent, money teams are in there. How much more is it gonna be this year? I think this year, there's some huge contracts out there. And I think that.
I don't know, I don't even know who
You know-
the
you know who's-
top
you know-
free agents are here,
Well, it's
other
gonna
than
be Soto and Alonso.
Yeah,
And Bregman could be gone.
yeah, I think he's a little past his prime.
I am gonna agree with Alex on that one.
Okay.
He's still a good ball player, and
Yeah,
I
no,
think
he
you'll
is.
see him get,
Yeah.
it's amazing now when you look at somebody and go, 15 million a year, and
Yeah.
now it's,
Yeah,
That's-
and the way the Dodgers deferred Ohtani's.
I think that is.
Hello.
Somehow that shouldn't be.
So his final, when he's 83.
Bobby Bonilla?
Yeah,
Bobby Bonilla
this is
deal,
worse.
exactly.
This is worse.
Oh,
than
I
what-
agree. What is it, like $1 a year or something for some ridiculous
It's-
number?
No, it's.
And then 700 million
Couple
in
thousand. Couple thousand
2040.
a year. But yeah, I had no idea until I read that recently.
Yeah,
I
it's
had no idea.
it's a bit
Yeah.
shady
Is
as
it
far as
time
I'm
for- Is it
concerned.
time for a salary cap in baseball?
It may be.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know they have this luxury tax, and there may be a
Doesn't
way.
seem to
there-
bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never bothered George. It hasn't bothered this conglomerate in LA.
But even when I'm a Yankees fan, and I always admired Steinbrenner for the fact he at least turned the money around and put it back on the field. You had this guy here in Minnesota, I'll use him as an example, Griffin, who was a multi-billionaire,
Right.
and he would
Okay.
they would always nickel dime it up to,
Well, Kansas City's kind of done that. They haven't paid that much out to people.
no,
And the Tigers, I don't think have.
And look at the Miami, what do you call them, Miami? these
Miami
days?
Marlins.
Miami Marlins.
And
And
Tampa.
then they won a World Series with nothing back in
Tampa, who knows where they're
2002.
even gonna play next year?
That's right. It was
That is the worst baseball. Have you
Oh,
been
I've
there?
been there before, and what,
That is
it
the
is an
worst
actual,
baseball.
it's a crap hole.
This was a
I think
good,
they
this
should
was a
just-
good thing for
They should
the,
just, they should, oh, yeah.
just for that building.
Just-
Who knew
nothing
that
else.
a fabric roof would cost $100 million to replace?
So,
They probably should just leave it open, cause it stinks to high heavens in there
well,
too.
just,
It's
it's
a horrible.
terrible
Yeah.
weather and the heat of the. What do you think for next year? They were already put the line out at the
No.
Dodgers and the Yankees are gonna be the favorites for next year. again.
There's a lot of things to go on.
Uh-huh.
I think you have to wait till the free agency period goes through before you can make any kind of.
Just remember that Dombrowski is fast at work right now.
What's he need? What do the Phillies need?
Oh, well, the Phillies need, they're getting a little old in the
Okay.
tooth. They need some speed. They need some younger power. They've got a nice,
Glaber's a free agent after this year.
well, somebody can teach him how to block a ball instead of trying to backhand a ball.
And
let
run the
Ohtani go to-
bases.
Let Ohtani go to third. I mean, that's basic stuff. And the Mets catcher, he never moves his feet and he tries to backhand
This
everything.
one knee catching stuff
It's
is
terrible.
terrible. These guys don't know how to block. You know, I watch Austin Hedges. Again, he, for Cleveland, used to be in San Diego. He repeated Gold Glove winner. Defensive, he's not a good hitter, but defensively, he's just fantastic to watch because he
Yeah.
blocks anything in front of him.
Yeah.
So,
Wells has done a nice job defensively.
yeah, and then
can't
playing
hit.
Trevino, but neither one can really hit.
Well, Trevino can't throw anybody out either.
Wells can hit, September 1st, he just hit a wall.
Yeah.
He just, I think it's kid that's never played, like,
Yeah, do you think, I guess Judge will snap out of it, but he just seems
Well, let's hope so.
so lost.
Yeah, I don't wanna see him go out and have just a bad.
if you notice, Ortiz made a point the other night that he hasn't been the same since that pitch hit him in the ribs
Right.
against Cleveland.
Okay.
So guys,
And,
we got 10 seconds to go. I want to thank you both.
Yeah.
It's always.
Thank you for putting it together.
Yeah, and we'll try to do it more than once a year.
Yeah,
It's just that,
it's a health check, it's a wellness check.
yes,
But-
you guys pretty much look the same. Thanks, folks. Thanks, staff. Thanks, crew.